Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morrisman, and always I thank you guys for coming to my channel. And we're gonna do a very special "Tell It Like It Is" talk show, because as you know, me and my co-host Joseph Spencer, we do a talk show called "Tell It Like It Is," and our new season starts in September. But we thought it was very important to do a special segment regarding Sandra Bland. And we all know who Sandra Bland was. She was a young woman, and she's pulled over by a police officer for a minor traffic issue, and it escalated to her being arrested because she didn't want to put a cigarette out, because that's what that was about, authority thing. She said she didn't want to put a cigarette out in her car, and she had every right to not want to do that. And that's when things kind of, the shit hit the fan, so to speak. So let me reintroduce you guys to my co-host Joseph Spencer.
How you doing?
How you been, Joe?
I'm all right.
Good.
I'm up. I'm alive.
Good.
I'm paying bills.
That's a good thing. Okay, so we're going to get into this, and what we're going to do is something different, because we can basically jump on the bandwagon with everybody else and rant about how she was done wrong, and everybody knows that. So the issue here is not about what took place that was wrong, because it was. We're going to talk about some solutions that can help reduce black people getting pulled over and harassed by the police for absolutely no reason at all. But, let me just say this first regarding Sandra Bland, and then we're going to get into that. I thought about that. And, again, it started about the cigarette thing. And I'm not a smoker myself, but you are. Yeah. And I've seen people, and I know people that smoke, and they said this to me, and it makes sense. They say when they get nervous, they want a cigarette. When they get scared, they want a cigarette. Same thing with people that drink. When they're having bad days and having anxiety issues. Yeah, they want cigarettes or drinks. So we assuming, because we weren't there, that the reason why she wanted a cigarette or start smoking was she's uncomfortable, and she'd had every right to be. She's pulled over for something that she didn't realize that she did.
Young black woman from the north in Texas.
Yeah, because the worst case scenario should have been she had been written a ticket and sent on her way and disturbed, as opposed to what took place and how it escalated, and she's no longer here. But again, let's focus on this. Again, we know what took place is wrong, and that's no debate or argument. But what are we going to do about it as black people? Because it's obvious that there's a certain segment of the law enforcement industry and just the government in general don't care about us. It's like, they don't care about us. So we need to start caring about ourselves, and we need to start doing things that's going to reduce what has been taking place. Because I've only had 2 moving violations the entire time I've been driving. I've been driving since I was like 17. I got my learner's permit, and then I started driving. The first one was some nonsense, like the second ticket. The first one was I went through a yellow light. And I'm sitting here with the rules of the road in my glove compartment, and it clearly states that I can go through a yellow light, just proceed with caution. But I realized at an early age that's some bull, That's in the book. Right. So don't try that on the street, because you're going to get challenged by the police, and a lot of times you're going to lose when you go to court. So so I realized at that early age, not going in no more. Now, sometimes it happens and you go through it because you're driving, and all of a sudden it changes because you're not familiar with the Pacific light. But I learned at an early age, Joe, that I stopped that. When I went to court, I noticed this. I went there was about 60 people in the courtroom, because there were different courtrooms. I went in there, it was about 60 people. 90% of those people were black people. The other percentage was Mexicans, and there was only one white dude. Now I'm saying to myself, I'm sitting here doing the math. There's actually population-wise twice as many white people in this country as black people. So why are 90% of the people in that room was black people? And the answer to that question was they patrol our neighborhoods more aggressively regarding tickets than white neighborhoods, and it's not a mystery. So I realized at that early stage in my life, I need to do what I need to do as far as making adjustments so they won't come effing with me. Because I don't want them effing with me. I'm trying to just get back and forth to what I'm trying to do and not have nobody messing with me. So here are some suggestions for you young black people and young minorities. Don't give them a reason to bother you. Now, I know there's some people that don't give them a reason and they ain't done nothing and they still get pulled over. But, the majority of the time that we get pulled over, we can prevent it ourselves. We got to stop eating in the cars. We got to stop texting in our cars. We got to stop talking on the phone. We got to be tunnel vision as far as this is the task at hand. And I do all that other stuff once that I get out of my vehicle because we are making it easier for them to keep effing with us.
You forgot about the being real.
Well, that too, and all of a sudden, like also, the term that I've heard was riding dirty. You don't want to be riding dirty. You got suspended license. You out driving around 12 o'clock at night. Yeah, make sure that your brake lights, because I do this every week, Joe, because I go to this store and I park my car behind the store so I can look in my rearview mirror and hit my brakes and see that my lights are working. I do that every week. So if one of those bulbs go out, I can quickly replace it. I make sure that all of my stickers are up to par. They're not expired.
Neighborhood police officer, your lights off. This is a warning.
Yeah, yeah, but
You're not
again.
in the right neighborhood. You're gonna get a ticket.
Yeah, so we have to make sure that we keep everything that we do in order because, I know everybody's finances is different from everybody else's. And, if your sticker is expired, lean on a family member and say, hey, can I, hit you up for a few dollars till I get paid, so I can get this, keep the sticker. Or the suggestion you made. If you can't do it, park it until you can. Because again, we don't want to give them no reason to keep bothering us. And, and every day, just about, depending on where you at, you see that we give them reason to keep bothering us because, we got to pay attention to the road. It's just that serious because back in the 80s before it was a mandatory and against the law to ride without your seatbelt, I used to put my belt on. And people are like, why are you doing that? I was like, it's just the right thing to do. For security reasons, as far as, if I got in an accident, I'm not going to fly through the windshield. And I don't want nobody bothering me. My belt is on, my brake lights are working, my tail lights are working, my sticker is up to par, it's not expired. Give them no reason to bother you. And I think that we all need to bind together and work on that because, again, we can't rely on the system to protect us because it's obvious that the system is not protecting us at all. Not at all. So we need to take this into our own hands and say, hey, this is what we need to do to get them off me. What are your thoughts on that?
If you had police officers policing an area where his neighbors are black or Mexicans or Jews or whatever, he get to know his neighbors and he can see which people are going to do what they're going to do. I grew up in an era that you knew you got on the ground when the police, I don't care if he was 6, when the police showed him, maybe he been black or white, and they tell you get your black ass on the ground, that's what you did. Now, 50 years later, you have a young woman that's well educated, unafraid of the world, because I was brought up to be afraid of the world, and the police was a big part of the world, no matter if he was white or black. When you're not born free and police officers stop you, you get down on the ground, and you forget about your rights. You can't ask him, why are you treating me like this? What have I done? No, I'm not going to put my cigarette out. From the generation I was born in, I know to put out my cigarettes. I know to get down on the ground, nigga. She did not know that she was a nigga, and she wasn't. So that's what got her locked up. If she got a little frisky with him because he was manhandling her, most women are going to do that. One thing going to piss a woman off is you put your hands on them. So when you start trying to control them, she has a flight thing in the first place. It goes back thousands of years. Bigger than me, stronger than me, run. And hey, it's just one big mess. This is a mess.
Okay, let me add this because we mentioned this off the air, and I thought it would be a good idea to do this because I Joe, jokingly, but yet I wasn't joking. That I don't think I know too many black men that don't have I got pulled over by the police for no reason story. I have several, and I'm going to share one of them. I was in my early 20s, and I was working for a grocery food store chain. And my hours were like 7 p.m. to about 12 o'clock midnight. And at that time, I don't think I had a car. And my coworker had a car, and it was 3 of us. So my coworker was polite enough or nice enough or kind enough to drop us off. So we were on our way to drop off the first guy. And it was raining that night, south side of Chicago. And we noticed a car behind us following us. And it's like, what's up with that? Followed us for about 3 blocks. And then all of a sudden, pull up, lights flashing. They got out of the cars with guns in hand and said, get out the fucking car and get up against the car. So we got out, they frisking us, and they frisked me, and I had a box cutter in my pocket because I was a stock boy. And he said, what you got this for? I said, that's part of my tools for my trade, and I explained to him, where we were. And then he eventually told us why he pulled us over. My coworker was driving a green Chevy Caprice. He said that there was a report out that some guys had just robbed the store and they were driving a blue Chevy Caprice. And I'm saying to myself, well, ours is obviously green. And I understand initially you got to check out situations, and once you realize that it checks out, pardon yourself and say, I'm sorry for detaining you guys. You can be on your way. Instead, Joe, this is what he said verbatim. I wish the car you was driving was blue. That's what they told us. So it's like we want to lock you up. We just don't have a reason to lock you up. And there was no reason for them to even had said that to us. Because, again, we weren't criminals. We just coming home from another hard days of work, and we're just trying to get home. Yeah, but see, that's the mentality that some, and I stress that, some law enforcement officers, because most of them are out there doing their job and serving and protecting. But unfortunately, it's the handful that aren't, that give everybody in the force a black eye. And it's like, when is it going to stop? And unfortunately, it's not going to stop until we take stock of our situation and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make sure that everything in my car and me is straight. So they won't have a reason to even look at me and just pass me by. And if enough of us start to do that, we'll see an increase or a decrease in these incidents, because they have to justify why they pulled you over. And if there's no justification, and now we got cell phones and, the cameras on their cars, they got to show reason why, and it's like, don't give them a reason to pull you over and start harassing you and trying to pull you out of your car, so I'm going to end this segment now because, again, I thought it was important to do this today because, if we were to tape this next month or the month after and then it airs a month later, it still wouldn't be fresh in the minds of people as far as what happened to Sandra Bland, which shouldn't have never happened. So we thought it was really important to do that today and to stress these are some of the suggestions that are made that can reduce that, because unfortunately right now I can't think of anything that can eliminate that. So on that note, I'm going to sign off, and until next time, take care. My co-host, Joe Spencer. So thanks for watching.
Good night. Be blessed.
Take care.